Hi everybody, in this class we are going to discuss about pollination. We are going to discuss about pollination, a very simple topic that we are going to discuss. We all know that the male gametes are produced in the pollen grains. Male gametes are produced in the pollen grains. Whereas the female gametes are produced in the embryo sac. Male gametes are produced in the pollen grains, whereas the female gametes are produced in the embryo sac. And here, very important thing that we have to keep in mind is that the male gametes, and the female gametes, both are non-motile. Male gametes and female gametes both are what? They are non-motile. They cannot move by themselves in order to participate in the process called as fertilization. So what is fertilization? Fusion of male gamete with the female gamete. Fusion of male gamete with the female gamete is called as what? Fertilization. Fusion of male gamete with the female gamete is called as fertilization. What is the end product of fertilization? Zygote. Fusion of male gamete with the female gamete to form zygote is called as fertilization. Fertilization is a very important process in the plant life for the perpetuation of its race. So how this is possible? How that is possible? Why I am asking this question is because both the male gametes and female gametes are non-motile. Then how they are brought together? There is a mechanism that is taking place in the plants to bring the non-motile male gametes and female gametes together. What is that process? That is nothing but, as we said, kept the heading as pollination. So here, in the process of pollination, it is a mechanism. Pollination is a mechanism in which male gamete and female gamete, which are non-motile, are brought together for the objective process. What is the key objective process here? Fertilization to take place. So what is pollination now? It is the transfer of pollen grains. It is the transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma. We already know the male part of the flower is the androecium and the female part of the flower is gynoecium. So here, if you are looking at a simple flower, here the anther will shed the pollen grains. Anther will be shedding the pollen grains. So these pollen grains are carrying what? The male gametes. Whereas the female gametes are present where we said embryo sac. All the way in the ovary there will be an ovule, which we already studied. In the ovule there will be an embryo sac. Inside the embryo sac there will be egg, that we are calling it as what? The female gamete. So now what we are saying is pollination means what? Transfer of pollen grains from what is this? It is the anther. From anther to the stigma. From anther to the stigma. So pollination means transfer of pollen grains. These are what? The pollen grains. So transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma. From anther to the stigma is called as pollination. But for this process to occur in the plants, there are various external agents. That will be helping in bringing up the process called as pollination. So we are going to study now what are those agents which will be participating in the process of pollination. So here, pollination is generally we say that it is of two types: self-pollination and cross-pollination. And if you are looking at self-pollination, again it is of two types we say: autogamy and diatonogamy. Whereas cross-pollination is called as xenogamy, or otherwise another name is that allogamy we call it as. So cross-pollination is either called as xenogamy or otherwise it is called as allogamy. And here for cross-pollination compulsorily it requires various agents to help in the process of pollination. So here what are those agents? They can be abiotic agents. Abiotic means you know that they are non-living agents, and biotic agents. Biotic agents means living things that will be helping in the process of pollination. So abiotic agents are wind and water, whereas the biotic agents are, they can be insects, they can be birds, they can be bats, they can be snails, or otherwise even ants also will help in the process of pollination. Ants also will help in the process of pollination. Now we are going to talk about autogamy. We are going to discuss about the autogamy. So here we are going to discuss now about self-pollination. Already we said that self-pollination is of two types. One is autogamy and the other one is diaconogamy. So first of all, what do you mean by the word autogamy? It is transfer of pollen grains. Say suppose if this is the anther, okay, if this is the anther, if the pollen grains are released from here and these pollen grains will come and fall on the stigma. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma. So this is the stigma and here are the pollen grains. Let us say that these are the pollen grains. So transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of the same flower. That is what is important here. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of the same flower. Which means in simple, when pollination is taking place within the same flower, we are calling it as autogamy. When the pollination is taking place within this same flower, we are calling it as what? Autogamy. So transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma within the same flower or of the same flower, it is called as autogamy. In most of the cases, autogamy is very rare. It is very rare. Which means those flowers which are exposed, will undergo the process of autogamy in a very rare cases. Why we are using that it is very rare? Because there are 2 points which we have to keep in mind. Why autogamy is very rare? It is because the anther, the first point that we have to keep in mind is that anther and the stigma, both anther plus stigma may not be maturing at the same time. They will not mature. Okay, they will not mature at the same time. Okay, at the same time. Okay, they will not mature at the same time. That's what is important here. In most of the cases where the anther and the stigma, they will not mature at the same time. If they are maturing at the same time, there are chances that the pollen grains or autogamy will be taking place. But here what we are saying, autogamy is rare. Why it is rare? It is because anther will be maturing at one point of time and then after some time the stigma will be maturing. Due to this difference, they will not prefer for what? Autogamy. They will not go for autogamy. This is one reason why autogamy is rare. Autogamy is rare. And the other point is that the anther and the stigma, may not be lying close to each other. May not be lying close to each other. They will not be very close to each other. So this is another reason why they will not be undergoing the process of what? Autogamy. So self-pollination is not so easy, or self-pollination is very rare because of what? They will not mature at the same time. What are those? Anther and the stigma. And at the same time, they are not lying close to each other. What are those? Anther and stigma. They will not be lying very close to each other. If they are lying very close to each other, then it is very easy for what? Autogamy. So self-pollination will not be taking place most of the time, or it is very rare because they are not maturing at the same time and they are not lying close to each other. This is what again we have to remember when we talk about the autogamy. So in some plants if you are looking at, for example, like viola, commonly called as common pansy, oxalis, commonina bengalensis. In these plants, okay, they will be showing 2 types of flowers. They will be producing 2 types of flowers. Okay, those 2 types of flowers we can call as chasmogamous and clistogamous. Chasmogamous and clistogamous. There are 2 types of flowers that are produced by some of the plants, like as we quoted here some examples like viola, oxalis and commonina. What are those? Chasmogamous and clistogamous. Chasmogamous flowers are as same as the other flowers which we studied, where they will be showing the same type of like exposed. They will be showing exposed anther and the stigma, or otherwise we can say androecium and gynoecium are exposed as same as other flowers that we come across. That is important. Chasmogamous flowers are those flowers which will be exposing their anther and also the stigma. But the same plants will also show other type of flowers where they are completely closed. These are closed. We can say that chasmogamous flowers are what? Open. They are kept open all the time. But clistogamous flowers are completely, they are always kept closed. They are always kept closed. So here, if you are looking at the clistogamous flowers which are kept closed, they have the anther and the stigma lying very close to each other. The anther and the stigma will be lying very close to each other, and once the anther dehiscences, means releases the pollen grains, they will be falling on the stigma. And due to which, compulsorily, in the clistogamous flowers, compulsorily they will be undergoing a process called as what? Autogamy only. They will be compulsorily undergoing autogamy only. Because they are always, the flowers are kept closed. And anther and the stigma are always very close to each other. In the previous part, what we said, if the autogamy have to occur, one of the point that we said is that anther and the stigma should lie very close to each other. So here is one that we are saying that anther and the stigma are lying very close to each other. So that's why compulsorily autogamy will be taking place. And because of this, in the clistogamous flowers, they will be producing issued seed set. Issued seed set means what? Compulsorily they will be producing the same type of seeds without showing any variations. They will not show any variations. As soon as the parent plant, it will be carrying the same characteristics, issued seed set, and compulsorily they will be producing. So here there are advantages and disadvantages when we talk about the clistogamous flowers. One of the advantage already I quoted here is that they will be showing even advantage of the clistogamous flowers is that when we talk about the advantage is that they will be showing variations. Okay. Sorry, they will not show variations. No variations will be seen. No variations will be seen in these plant flowers because they are producing the same type of flowers. They are producing the same type of flowers. Okay, and this is one point that we have to keep in mind. Okay, this is one advantage, and at the same time you can change this as a disadvantage also. As what? In the clistogamous flowers, it will not show variations. And one of the another advantage is that it produces the flowers or the seeds even under unfavorable conditions. Even under unfavorable conditions, it will produce what? Unfavorable conditions, it can produce the flower seeds. Okay, during unfavorable conditions, it can undergo the process called as what? Autogamy, and produces the seeds. And see here what I said, disadvantage is what? What is the disadvantage here? It is not producing the variations, we can say. What is the advantage we are saying? Please try to understand this point. What is the advantage we are saying? It is not producing variations. So variations are not required to maintain the same type of flowers. But at the same time, if you want variations, you say that variations are not seen in these flowers. So these are some points that we have to keep in mind when we talk about advantages and as well as disadvantages regarding the clistogamous flowers. So here in the self-pollination, the next one is geotonogamy. So what do you mean by the word geotonogamy? Here we already said it is a type of self-pollination. But what is the difference between autogamy and geotonogamy? When the pollination is taking place between two flowers. So here is one flower of the same plant, and here is another flower of the same plant, born on the same plant. So geotonogamy means transfer of pollen grains. So let us say that this is the anther. So pollen grains are falling now. So these are the pollen grains. When the pollen grains are falling and reaching onto the stigma, reaching on to the stigma. So this is the stigma and this is the anther. So transfer of pollen grains, okay, transfer of pollen grains from anther of one flower, this is one flower, to the stigma of another flower born on the same plant, born on the same plant. So here the plant is one only, but there are two flowers that are there. There are two flowers. So when the pollination is taking place between two flowers born on the same plant, we are calling it as what? Geotenogamy. Most of the children will get confused here, so you should be very careful. What is the difference between autogamy and geotenogamy? So geotenogamy means what? Transfer of pollen grains from anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower is called as geotenogamy. So here, although geotenogamy is functionally cross-pollination. It is actually like cross-pollination. What we said, if it is taking place between two flowers, it is cross-pollination. But please remember this word. Although geotenogamy is functionally cross-pollination involving pollinating agents, here pollinating agents will be involved. Either it may be abiotic or biotic, it may be pollinating agents will be involved in this process. But genetically, it is similar to autogamy. It is genetically similar to autogamy because the gametes are here, it is taking place on the same plant. Because it is taking place on the same plant, it is genetically similar to the autogamy. That's what we have to remember when we talk about the geotenogamy. So the next one we are going to discuss is about the cross-pollination. Cross-pollination, as we said, that it can be called as what? Xenogamy, or it is also called as allogamy. Xenogamy or allogamy. Here, what do you mean by cross-pollination? We should understand. It is transfer of pollen grains from anther of one flower born on one plant to the another flower born on another plant. Here, transfer of pollen grains. So here are the pollen grains that are traveling through various agents. They come and fall on another flower. So transfer of pollen grains from anther of one flower born on one plant, and if they are carried to another plant or another flower born on another plant to the stigma. So transfer of pollen grains. So these are what? These are the pollen grains. These are the pollen grains, and this is the anther. This is the anther, and here this we are calling it as what? The stigma. So transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of two different flowers born on two different plants. Transfer of pollen grains between two flowers born on two different plants. It is called as what? Cross-pollination. And it is only in the cross-pollination their stigma will be receiving genetically different pollen grains. That is very important point. It is only in the cross-pollination genetically different pollen grains will be carried on to the stigma, because it is taking a simple answer, that is because it is taking place between two plants or between two flowers. It is between two flowers born on two different plants. So that is called as what? Cross-pollination. So the point that you have to remember here is that genetically different pollen grains are carried onto the stigma in the process of cross-pollination. So these are all the points that we have to keep in mind when we discuss about the pollination. Thank you so much.